Hey, basketball fans, we're less than 3 weeks away from the NBA trade deadline on February 6th. We're going to have you covered for the next 3 weeks here on Chat Sports, so make sure you subscribe, youtube.com/chatsportstv, or just hit that big red button. We'll be live with the latest trade rumors for the next 3 weeks. We'll have our live show on February 6th for the trade deadline, so make sure you subscribe now. Let's get into today's NBA trade rumors. Welcome into NBA Now on Chat Sports. I am your host, Harrison Graham. I just said it, less than 3 weeks away from the NBA trade deadline. Let's get into the latest NBA trade rumors here on a Friday as we sit in the middle of January. Robert Covington continues to be in the headlines, the Minnesota Timberwolves swingman. I think he's the new Jay Crowder, where every NBA trade deadline, Covington is going to be on the trading block regardless of who he's playing for. It's going to be one of those, we'll throw in Robert Covington, that'll get a deal done. No, but seriously, one of the nice 3-and-D players in the league. Several teams reportedly interested. Minnesota expected to be very busy at the trade deadline. Already traded Jeff Teague and Travion Graham for Allen Crabbe, whose contract is expiring. They're trying to move contracts. They're trying to create cap space for 2020 and beyond. So moving Robert Covington makes some sense. And hint, hint, we'll get to him in a minute, they want D'Angelo Russell. Here are some of the teams interested in Robert Covington. You got the Dallas Mavericks, who could use a swing man, a 3-and-D type of player. You got the Philadelphia 76ers, who are reportedly interested, and the Houston Rockets. All three of those teams who need extra perimeter defenders and three-point shooters, and Robert Covington fits the bill on that front. Averaging almost 13 points a game this year, grabbing almost 6 rebounds, shooting 35.5% from three-point range. I think in all those cases, whether he goes to the Mavericks, Sixers, or the Houston Rockets, playing with superstars like Luka Doncic, James Harden, Ben Simmons, guys who can get him open shots from three, I think that three-point percentage would only go up, as Minnesota is virtually playing without a point guard, especially after trading away Jeff Teague. Question for you guys, who's the biggest name, and I put name in quotes, that gets traded this year? Lots of names out there. Andre Drummond, I just mentioned Covington, D'Angelo Russell, who we're about to get to. Is there a bigger name out there that gets traded? Let me know who you guys think the biggest name that'll get moved before NBA's trade deadline on February 6th. This will be the pinned comment. Might get hit with the YouTube ad break. If you do, go scroll down, answer this question. Who's the biggest name that gets traded this year? D'Angelo Russell, I mentioned him. He is next up here, and it ties into the Timberwolves here as they want him. And they've made that clear. They wanted him during free agency last year. They tried to get him before the Warriors pulled off a sign-and-trade when Brooklyn got Kevin Durant. They got D'Lo back from the Brooklyn Nets. Minnesota desperately needs a point guard. And keep in mind, D'Angelo Russell and Karl Anthony Towns, really, really good friends. That's why they tried to team these two guys up last year. Weren't able to make it happen then. They're trying to make it happen now, but the reports lately are saying that Golden State doesn't want to move Russell. They're really going to have to be blown away to move the point guard out of Golden State. Here's a potential trade that I kind of got from SB Nation. I built on it a little bit. SB Nation threw a trade for Covington and Russell together, and I built on it. Gorgui Dieng would go to Golden State as well, as you got to match up the salaries. I threw Josh Okogie in the mix as well, and a 2020 second-round pick. And then Minnesota gets their man, D'Angelo Russell. So I think a fair trade there, both salary-wise and in terms of talent going from one team to the other. I think that's the type of trade it's going to take if Minnesota is going to get D'Angelo Russell. Now, a fully healthy Warriors lineup with Robert Covington would look like this. Keep in mind, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, both hurt right now. May not play the rest of the season. Curry could come back. We'll see. But I'm more talking about 2020 and beyond, the start of the 2020-21 season. You got Curry and Klay. You'd have Robert Covington playing the small forward spot. Draymond Green, Willie Cauley-Stein would be on the second year of his deal. And you'd have several bench pieces that are getting a lot of playing time this year. Guys like Eric Pascal and Jordan Poole, who would come off that bench. I think the Warriors would be back in the mix next year if they got Robert Covington to go with Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. Again, these are some of the trade details. Which team would win this trade? I want to know. I think it's a win-win. T-Wolves get their point guard to pair with Karl Anthony Towns. the Warriors get Robert Covington, a solid 3-and-D player who would essentially become their new modern Andre Iguodala, 3-and-D type of player who brings toughness as well. I think it's a win-win for both sides. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Now, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI. Go get signed up at chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code NBA120 and get that 120% deposit bonus. I'm going to go through my plays of the day. All 4 of these games on the NBA schedule tonight here on Friday, so take advantage at BetDSI. I've got the Thunder over the Heat, the Grizzlies over the Cavs, the Spurs over the Hawks, and the Mavs over the Blazers. All those teams are playing at home. All those teams, except for the Mavericks, are really good at home. The Blazers are really bad on the road. I like the Mavs in that game tonight, despite being barely over 500 at home this season. Those are my plays of the day. Here's the kind of the money aspect of it. If you put $10 on those 4 money lines, you don't have to worry about the spread. Just pick a straight-up winner. On those games, that the teams I picked to win, you'd risk $40 to get an extra $16.50. Yeah, it's not a huge profit bet there, but those are all heavy favorites at home tonight. I like that play on BetDSI, chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code NBA120. Now, if you want to parlay those, all 4 of them together, you only risk $10 with a potential profit of $28.08. I think that's a bet worth doing. $10 to make almost $30. Pretty good deal for 4 teams who are heavy favorites at home. Again, BetDSI is the internet's #1 sportsbook. Chatsports.com/bet. Go get signed up today and use our promo code NBA120 to get that 120% deposit bonus. Now, next NBA trade rumor here coming up. We'll get to Bradley Beal in just a second, but a little bit more on this D'Angelo Russell trade. Now, this is the type of season he is having here. 23 points, 3.5 rebounds, over 6 assists per game. It's not a surprise that the T-Wolves want to bring him in, especially with that improved three-point percentage, but I don't think it's just Minnesota that is going to try and make a move for D'Angelo Russell. Here are a couple of other teams I think that could be in the mix. Obviously, you've got Minnesota. We heard the rumor Ben Simmons for D'Lo straight up. Maybe Philadelphia is looking to spice things up over there. And how about the Orlando Magic? They've needed a point guard for a lot of time, have some other nice pieces in play, but don't have the floor conductor to get the guys the ball in the right position. I think he would make a lot of sense in Orlando. I'll be very curious to see if Golden State moves him at the NBA trade deadline. Now we get to Bradley Beal. Keep in mind he cannot be moved before the deadline since he signed that 2-year extension before the season. But I think an offseason trade is more and more likely as the weeks go on because Bradley Beal continues to be frustrated because the Wizards aren't very good and they keep losing games. Again, can't be traded before the deadline, so he will be with Washington for the rest of the season. But here was his quote after the Wizards lost to the Bulls the other night. "I don't like losing, so it's going to keep blowing up for me. Until we can start winning and start changing our culture, get that winning attitude and winning habits, and we don't have them right now." That was Bradley Beal expressing his frustration, taking questions after the Wizards' recent loss. Here's the bottom line, guys. Bradley Beal is a player that needs to be on a winning team. Yeah, the three-point percentage isn't there this year. You know why? Because the Wizards stink and he has to take a lot of bad shots. You put him on a contending team entering next season, that number goes way up. A team like the Dallas Mavericks playing next to Luka Doncic, I think that would be a great fit for Bradley Beal, but I think he's getting real tired in Washington. His buddy John Wall continues to rehab that Achilles injury. They're going nowhere anytime soon. I was shocked when he signed that 2-year extension. I think an offseason trade is very, very likely for Bradley Beal. Now, we got a lot of NBA gear on sale for you guys, including these jerseys. Go to this link, chatsports.com/NBA sale. We've got jerseys as low as $49.99. You will not find a better deal out there. Tons of player jerseys for you guys at chatsports.com/NBA sale. And plus, how about this warm-up jacket? It's not just the Celtics either. All teams, chatsports.com/NBA jacket, up to 30% off, just $49.99. If you go to NBA.com or one of the big sites, you're not going to find these deals. Chatsports.com/NBA jacket. You get this thing for $50, less than $50, $48.99, 30% off. We'll have the link in the comments and in the description. Take advantage of those deals today. Final trade rumor here, Kyle Kuzma for Davis Bertans. Bleacher Report threw this idea together, and when I first looked at it, I was like, Bertans? Why would you give up Kuzma for Bertans? Well, it's because the Lakers need three-point shooting. They are 10th or 11th in percentage this year, but they're only 23rd in attempts and 21st in three-point shots made this year. They don't take a lot of them. They only take them when they are open. Bertans would help fill that role of being that three-point shooter, catching passes from LeBron James. You put Kuzma and Bertans side by side. Bertans is a much better three-point shooter, 43.5%. Kuzma, that's not really his game. He's played better of late, but I think he could actually benefit going to a rebuilding team like Washington, getting more minutes, playing in that starting lineup. You bring in Bertans, who has an expiring contract, to a Lakers team that is trying to win right now. That's the whole point of this trade. I think Kuzma long-term is the better player, but if you're trying to win this year, Bertans can help you do that. Now, here was the trade Bleacher Report put together. It was Bertans for Kyle Kuzma, Quinn Cook, and Talen Horton-Tucker. I don't know if you have to give up the rookie in Horton-Tucker, who's played primarily in the G League this year, but if you're getting held up on Horton-Tucker in a trade like this, you go ahead and do it. Again, the Lakers are in win-now mode. Kuzma gets to go to Washington, kind of revamps his career, will play 30-plus minutes per game. I think this is a win-win for both sides. Davis Bertans to L.A. would certainly be very interesting.